when the seagulls follow the shore, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you.
And as we say now in my country, they brought the buzz and they left the buzz in front of the goal.
And the guy's talking absolute nonsense. Never heard so much rubbish in my life.
Normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
I'm telling you, don't back down, double down. Don't back down, double down.
Yes! Here we go! Champions again, ole, ole. Champions again, ole, ole. Oh, I just love it. Can't get enough of it. Cannot get enough of it. Welcome aboard the Bhoycie Bus. It is Monday, the 8th of May, and as you will all be aware, acutely aware, Celtic were crowned champions yesterday of the Scottish Premier League title yet again. It's getting that easy way. We're going to discuss it all. We're going to get the satisfaction coming out of Johnny Lowe, Connor Carr, and Phil McGinley, who joined me today. Obviously, all we need to do all that good stuff. All that good stuff means hit subscribe, like, slag my hair. Nobody cares. It's all good. And if you want to become a Bhoycie Bus member, and there's loads watching right now, but there's loads. If you want to become a Bhoycie Bus member, like Monty, like MM, Gary Brown, John Duncan, Stevie Kenny, Edward Kerr, etc., etc., then it's $1.99 a month, but do not worry, all our content remains free. And what is it you say, Phil? It will never be behind a paywall. I like that.
Paywall, yes, that's the
I
term
like
for it, yes.
And there's another member there, Pam. We've got to give Pam a mention. So yes, if you want to do that, it's fine. It's just it keeps the wheels on the road, petrol in the tank. A big shout out to our sponsors, ED Pharmacy as well. ED Pharmacy now sponsor the Bhoycie Bus. Anyone with any sort of erectile dysfunction issues in the slightest at all, go to ED Pharmacy, put in the code BUS10, and you'll get a 10% discount. And you never know, you could be like Lionel Richie and up all night long. Anyway, I am sure we were all partying up all night long last night. What a day it is to be a Tim. Phil McGinley, take it away.
Oh, mate, it's I mean, we've known it's coming for a while. It's one of those, like, it was on the cards. Very own Terry called it way back in December, I think he was bold enough to say then. And it turned out to be true. Very few points dropped since then. And yes, finally it happened. Won it at Tynecastle. Can't think of many better places to go and win it as well in front of their fans. Phenomenal day. And a wee bit of a shaky start, but overall, Hearts just tired themselves out, ran themselves into the ground, didn't take the chance when they were on top. And naturally, what happens when you don't do that against us? Because as Ange always says, we never stop. And once again, we did not stop. We took the chances when they came. And that was it. The game, set, and match. Champions again. Ole, ole.
Well, you're summing it up, Phil. I mean, I think we seen yesterday the worst and the best bits of Celtic yesterday, but I think the best bit about Celtic this season is they don't need to just roll teams over in the first half an hour and hope, even if they are jaded or they are tiring, they don't need to hope for the best, Phil. They just have a resilience about them now. Streetwise, side to them, I think has led them to this title. I think it's been a huge factor in it, and I believe will be a huge factor next season as well.
Indeed. It's I say with Ange saying stopping the streetwise thing, hopefully will benefit us massively going into Champions League. That's one of the things we've said many times on here, that Celtic over the years maybe haven't been streetwise enough. Too many teams from across the continent will come to Celtic Park and they will be streetwise, and it will always get the better of us. But hopefully now that's starting to be ingrained in this team, and we see reaping the benefits next season.
Couldn't agree more. Johnny, did you enjoy it yesterday, my man? You enjoyed it?
I certainly did. Unfortunately, I wasn't like Lionel Richie and up partying all night long. I think old age was catching up on me, and I was in my bed by about 9:30 last night.
That's what ED Pharmacy's there for, mate. Just check them out.
Yeah. What was that email address again? I'll have to take that down. But I did enjoy my day. I was extremely jealous of was it 1,400 that got tickets for the game yesterday? Extremely jealous of them. I was extremely jealous of our own judge who was at Kerrydale Street watching it yesterday. Is that right? And I was jealous of all the people that were able to turn up for the party back at Celtic Park when the team came back, watching all that. But as I was sitting in the house pretty much on my Todd watching it, but I had a good time, and I wasn't quite moving. I did have Stella for company, so that wasn't too bad at all. But I had a very good day, like hundreds and thousands of millions of whatever Celtic supporters all over the world did. So cheers, lads.
Cheers, mate. No, I love that. Indeed. Love that. Nice one. And Connor, the thing is, as we always say, you're of a generation, you're just accustomed to this, mate. This is just how it rolls. Celtic champions again, mate. I think you're on mute, son, but it's the best you've ever sounded. And he's still on mute.
I'm afraid you are, mate.
You're in, mate, not mine. You're just miming into a camera.
The techie gremlins have struck again.
Well, he must be in David's, using David's gear.
I'll take him out and he can jump back in once he's sorted it. It would be the Bhoycie Bus. There a few what would you call it? Barricades in the road. But anyway, the thing is with the performance yesterday, for me, you just forget it. Just forget the performance.
Exactly.
Just forget it. Nobody cares, mate. It's all about the achievement. And it's all about, as well, remembering where Celtic were when Ange took over. And I don't like always doing that as a fallback when we get beat. But I think when we win, I think it's very important then to recognise the journey, if you want to call it that. And it's a real journey, not fucking 12-year daft thing from a reincarnation. The real journey is where Ange took that team from, the skeleton of a squad he was left, a fan base so disenchanted, to try and salvage all that in one season and win, I think was incredible. This year, though, what he's now became is, for me, he's the messiah at Celtic right now, Phil. I think he's the guy who right now we are completely in awe of. When he speaks, you listen. And I feel like it's going to be very, very difficult to have a summer where we don't end up getting a wee bit demanding of him. Not just him, but Celtic themselves, because this guy's in situ right now. We couldn't have a better guy in charge right now. We couldn't have a better manager in charge. And now we've got to kind of now go, if we are in the realm of what Ange says goes, which I think all the fans are now, I'm beginning to hope that kind of then transcends into the board start going, what Ange says goes, because he's not going to be unrealistic in his demands this summer, but he might push the boundaries. I think we've got the right guy in situ to do that, Phil.
Oh, we certainly do. I think yesterday, Terry said it pretty well on PMP, talking about with Europe this coming season. We're talking about that idea that if we want to finish bottom of the group and you've got nothing to essentially look forward to other than potentially another treble game, so we need to go to the next frontier. We need to go to the next level. And I think we're right to be demanding, use that word, we can be a bit demanding. I think we're right to, because that is the next thing that we need to conquer. We need to start being able to take scalps again in Europe and have that idea of European football after Christmas. Because, again, I think Ange isn't here to just, just win domestic honours. He will want to take them to the next level. And it's shown over the last 2 years. The first season, obviously, we Europa League, dropped out in the Conference League knockout stages. Last season, Champions League, despite getting what memory would say was a favourable group. Didn't quite work out how we wanted it to, despite making 1,000,001 chances. We still finished bottom of the group. So this season, we have to be looking to get some sort of European football after Christmas, whether it's we finish third in the Champions League group stage and get Europa League football, or we go through to the next round of the Champions League, big money spinning ties, the way it is there. We have to have that on the calendar. And the only way to do that is we're going to have to invest correctly. In the summer, we have to push the boat out a little bit here. But we do have the right man to do it. It doesn't need to be £10 million signings, because lots of money spent on a player doesn't necessarily equal a good signing. We've seen that many times over the years. But I think with the tactical nuance that he's got and the network that he's got, I think he is the right man. He doesn't need to spend stupid amounts of cash. He can find us some good players under the radar that many won't even be aware of. So I'm very excited to see what the summer turns up for us.
Connor, are you with us?
No.
Still on mute. Oh.
Better?
Oh!
I don't know what it is. Get away. I'm of no use to anybody today, lads.
You working?
Better? Yeah, all good. All good. Yeah. If you can't tell, I had a good night last night.
Did you?
I did.
What was happening?
Just having a few wee drinks. The other thing was, like, I've no woke up with a hangover, but last night we decided we'll have a couple of drinks and we'll get a takeaway in. We've got a couple of pizzas in. I didn't realise I'd already ordered spicy pizzas, so I put extra jalapenos on top of it, and I'm not want to be too graphic, but there's more shit coming at me today than Michael Beale. So
oh, brilliant. Brilliant.
with regards to
Did you enjoy your day yesterday, son?
Oh, definitely did. It was a good day. I caught the first 15 minutes because I was at a cousin's party and then we had to drive home, but I had Clyde won on the radio and then I got back for the last 20 minutes of the first half just to see all the drama unfold. And the thing with this Celtic team is you could be, I don't know, under the cosh is what we apparently were, despite the fact that in that entire game yesterday Hearts never had a shot on target. But we can ride out. We have that ability, and you're never really sitting there panicking. I don't think anybody's ever really sitting there panicking, thinking, "Oh, if we're going to lose, is something bad going to happen here?" It's just this kind of confidence that Ange Postecoglou kind of brings to this team, and it's a nice kind of balancing act that we've got. We've got the rock and roll style of football that we never stop, and we've got the ability to take on whatever challenges are put forth against us, especially domestically. But I want us to really the board to give Ange a decent bit of backing. I feel like most managers recently have kind of living on a shoestring budget, and I feel like Ange is maybe the one to kind of get the board to let him have a look inside the coffers and use that. And I put it in the chat yesterday. Maybe I was a bit angry, after we won the league, but under Ange Postecoglou, as long as he's here, we'll win a European trophy. Mark my word.
Yeah, okay, Johnny. Yeah, I mean, you wear a shirt that is symbolic with winning a European trophy. Do you really believe that we've made enough progress right now at this moment in time to go and do what Connor says and lift a European trophy under Ange Postecoglou?
I don't know if I'm quite there yet, but I'm getting there. We just got to think about what you said earlier on about the journey that Ange's been on since he took over. Let's face it, when he was appointed, I don't think any of us were exactly raising a glass to him. If we thought could just stay in touch in this first season and run Rangers close, I think we would. And for being honest, we'd have been quite happy. But what he's done, he's not only won these trophies, he's reconnected the supporters with the club, because I don't think at that time when he took over, I don't think we'd been so disconnected from the club in a long time. Maybe even going back to the pre-Fergus McCann days. I mean, there was such a disconnection between the club. In fact, sometimes you just thought the board were doing things to spite us, if you like. You know, when there was all the clamour over Lennon, everybody was expecting Lennon to go. It was almost like Dermot Desmond had just dug his heels and it says, no, I'm not doing it just because you want me to. There was no, we'd lost complete connection with the club, and all we could really do was hope that this guy who'd come in from Japan was going to make a good start for us. And I think he'd actually started to win us over before we even played our first game of the season, just because of the way he was talking, almost from his first press conference. I just watched it back the other day there, actually, and it's great watching it back with the hindsight of knowing what's happened since. And you just think, everything he said was bang on. He was going to come in, felt privileged to get the job, and the responsibility. He kept using that word responsibility of the position that he's been given and what he needs to try and do. And he knew he wasn't going to last the first year if he didn't win things. And he's just taken it to a complete different level. So 2 years down the line from getting the job, I didn't think we'd have 4 trophies already in the bag, another one presumably incoming. So why not go for a European trophy next year? I'm not saying the Champions League, because I don't believe we're at that level. But there's teams win the Europa Cup that aren't as special as we are. So there's no reason why we can't go. Well, there's no reason why we can't go on to do it.
I mean,
there was a team from Glasgow that are nowhere near as special as we are.
Yeah.
But they were doing it last year, didn't they?
Yep.
So why not? We're far superior to them, so why not?
No, I love it. Do you know what? Even if we don't win a European trophy, nice to win a couple of knockout rounds again, Phil.
That would be nice. Yeah, 20 years it'll be.
But we're at that kind of peak passenger number where we've got a bit of an announcement, Phil McGinley.
I've got all right.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy because, and just firstly, it's not Adam fucking Virgo. Do you know what I mean? Like, wrap that patter. Whoever's interviewing him, like, just stop. Like, respect yourself more than the podcast and do not interview Adam Virgo as an ex-Celtic player. Fucking hell. So it's not Adam Virgo who's been on the bus now, because I interviewed him earlier on today.
Yep.
And you'll love this. You'll love it. I haven't even told you yet, Phil. So I interview him, 15 minutes. And at the end of it, I realised I've not pressed the record button because I was that fucking nervous. I was all over the place.
You better be fucking joking.
No, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. You don't understand. Why lie? I don't tell lies, mate. Like, I promise you, I forgot to press record. And I was like, sink or swim, Boycie.
Shit, man.
And I just found my bollocks in. I just went, look, I'm just going to tell you now. I'm a fool, I'm an idiot, but I forgot to press record. He just turned around and he went, we'll call that the rehearsal then, Boycie. This man needs no introduction. This is a guy who is probably the best footballer in the world at one point, but on a few years' occasions. He's certainly Scotland's best ever footballer. And the main man who has joined the bus, certainly for one show. If I get him again, I think I will get him again. He calls me Boycie.
The
one and only Kenny Dalglish.
Oh my god! Wow! Blockbuster popcorn. Oh my god! Wow! Yes, indeed.
Mental, man.
Yes,
mental.
Kenny.
I'm the luckiest little bastard. It's all luck. Do you know what I mean? Well, I say it's all luck David Lowe deserves a hell of a lot of credit because he's an opportunist, and however it landed on a lap, I'm not going to try and go into, but I spent this afternoon half an hour, because it was meant to be 15 minutes, but it became half an hour because I had to do it again with Kenny Dalglish. And if you tell me anyone in any silly Celtic podcast, and I'm sure a lot of them are good, have ever interviewed a name as big as that. How many European Cups he won? Only the 5? Is it 5? Something like that.
I've actually got his Wikipedia open just now. He's won the European Cup in 1978, 1981, and 1984 with Liverpool.
Three. Liverpool's best ever player, do you know what I mean? And Celtic only scored nearly 200 goals. So but anyway, it's all luck though, do you know what I mean? It's not like I really worked hard at sourcing him. It landed in a lap. David Lowe's got a huge part to play in it.
Yes.
But as far as I'm concerned, it's one up for the good guys. And everyone, we're the only, we do this on top of a full-time job. Folk need to remember that we all work full-time. Every single person you see in the bus. So this is just something we do in the background, and obviously we love it. And then I just think the good guys are going to end up winning the war. I think the folk will end up, I don't know, just mental though. It was surreal at times. You know what I mean? Did anybody read it, Boyce?
I can always say it was camp for a reason, and I think the way all this came together, I feel like it happened for a reason.
Stuart Miller says, all luck, you sound like Beale. Oh, come on, Stuart. You're better form than that right now. Come on. Johnny! You're obviously Dave's dad for a start. But also, take it away about Kenny Dalglish. Gives you a bit of insight, mate.
Well, what can I say about Kenny Dalglish that nobody else couldn't add? You know, they couldn't say it. I was lucky enough to see him play for Celtic. I think because I already had a little bit of an insight on this, Russell, that this was happening. I spoke with you off air a couple of weeks ago about it. Kenny Dalglish was the first footballer who broke my heart. 1977, I was 15, and he left to go to Liverpool. And of course, it was the usual. It was the end of the season. We were into August, and the rumours start coming up that Liverpool want Kenny Dalglish because Kevin Keegan was moving on to Hamburg. And of course, I'm a young 15-year-old kid. In fact, I was only 14 at the time. I wasn't 15 until the end, into August. But I thought, nah, he's never going to leave Celtic. Why would he leave Celtic? You know, there obviously wasn't the same massive differences between Scottish and English leagues at that time. Although Liverpool had just won the European Cup, I think, with Keegan, had they? I can't remember whether they had or whether they hadn't, but thought, yeah, he won't go there. Why would he go there? And then he did. For what was a record fee at the time, obviously, 440,000.
440, Garrett, and was that the world record fee at the time, or UK?
I don't know whether it was a European or world record, but you know, it must have been.
I think it was the world record fee.
Yeah. And my best mate down here, we've put a lot of thought into his nickname. We called him Scouse because he's from Liverpool. We put a lot of thought into that before we came up with it. But he's a mad Liverpool fan, and Kenny Dalglish is his god. And he was luckier than I was. He seen Dalglish play hundreds of times for Liverpool. Used to spend his gyro money going to Wembley finals and whatnot, like, you know. And he loved him. Like anybody who
scored nearly 170 goals for Celtic. 167 goals he scored for Celtic as well, which is the important bit. And by the way, for a wee bit of insight, this guy has got his handle on what's going on right now. I was like, this is not someone who's a fair weather fan, as it's described. Like, he was ringing off stats, mate, even off air as well. He knew everything that was going on. He was so on the ball. I suppose you shouldn't be surprised at, but sometimes I think the perception can turn into, oh, he's Liverpool based now, or that's his team now. Do you know what I mean? He knew everything that was going on, and it was very insightful, the conversation we had, not just about Celtic, may I add. But I'll leave that at that. But yes, Phil McGinley, Kenny Dow on the bus. It's on the first ever Excel. I thought I'd start at a low point. You know what I mean? I'd start with one of the
There's nowhere else to go after that one, Russell.
One of the wee reserves. I thought I'd get one of the, you get the wee diddies. It just frustrates me because I think you interview ex-Celts, and I just feel it's been so overdone now. Like, was it Paul Byrne and fucking shit like that? And I'm like, nobody cares, mate. Like, nobody cares. Like, they play for Celtic 20 times. I just think that stuff is just desperation to get folk to watch your channel. I never wanted to go down that road. I always wanted us to be about the bus and interacting with the passengers and like the folk who come on it, like us being the star of the show, as it were. But if you're going to get an ex-Celt on, I always thought, like, well, make sure it's a fucking good one. Do you know what I mean? It's not a bad place to start from, again, like. Chatty bastard, eh?
Honestly, I'm stunned. It's incredible how it's all came together. It really is. As you say, could you really started any higher? Set the bar pretty high with that one, but my God, Kenny Dalglish, that is incredible. I'm looking forward to hearing it. And the story you're just saying at the start there, just like, he's like, that's just a rehearsal then. Let's do it, Bhoycie. That's incredible, man, that happened again. Just superb.
And it was a sink or swim moment, though. Sink or swim moment, and I'm like, I realised like the last 3 or 4 minutes, I went, fuck, I've not pressed record, because I'm all over the place, you know what I mean? I'm hungover too. It was a big day yesterday, and I'm like, and to be honest, I got an hour and a half's notice that it was happening. And I'm like, oh my God. And I've just forgot to hit the record button. And I've realised like 3-4 minutes towards the end of the interview, I'm like, fuck, what am I actually going to do here? And it gets, you just realise it's once in a lifetime opportunities. You've got to grab it. You've just got to be honest, self-deprecating, which I'm good at, and just say, look, I'm a fool. None of this has been recorded. And the way he just honestly just sits back, he's on his holidays, he's in a villa in Spain, and he just sat back and goes, we'll call that the rehearsal, Bhoycie. We'll do it again. So relaxed about it. He wasn't even at all annoyed. And I not in a bad way, but I would expect him to go, I'm giving you 15 minutes already, which is more than enough time that I deserve in life. You know what I mean? So for him to be that kind, it was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Connor Carr, Kenny Dalglish. Oh, go on, Phil. Sorry.
I was going to say, my dad will be looking forward to it because my dad was at Postal YM, but at the same time, Kenny Dalglish was there. Postal, the two of them played for Postal YM around about the same year, and Kenny was in the team just above, the year group above. So my dad was that close to playing on the same team as Kenny Dalglish, but he'll be looking forward to seeing that as well, man. It's going to be good, man. Going to be a good one.
It is an audio only, just so everyone knows. It was a decision that was made before it, and listen, if Kenny says it's audio only, guess what? It's audio only. It's no problem. Absolutely no problem. But it's in the tank, and we will release it tonight. Connor Carr, Kenny Dalglish has been on the bus.
That's insane. That's crazy. That's, well, like, with fair play to you, Bhoycie, you're that jammer, you could fall in the Clyde and come out with a salmon in your mouth, honestly. But hey, no, it's incredible. And look, obviously Kenny's different for my generation. I unfortunately was not lucky enough to see him play. I have seen clips, I've seen videos, and I've seen people talk about him. And as much as he's an incredible footballer, people talk about him as a person as well. And just one thing I noticed is Kenny's he's getting older now. He wouldn't call himself a spring chicken, but he took the time out during COVID, during a time where it was really serious, and people were dying, and people in elderly homes were left with no one to see. And he went and visited an elderly gentleman who was a lifelong Liverpool fan, and it was Kenny Dalglish was his favourite ever player, and he went and he sat beside him outside his window and just sat and talked to him for well over an hour. And he's just an absolute humble gentleman, and just God bless him. And it's very fitting that this is Coronation Weekend, because Ange Postecoglou is the King of Glasgow, and we're getting King Kenny on the bus.
You know it, mate. Well done. That was good. That was good tie in there, Connor. I like that. I don't like being that. Like, I was overwhelmed today, Johnny. I was nervous. Right, I had to phone Phil before I was going on, and I was like, and Phil's like, "Are you still there?" I'm like, I can't speak. I'm trying to do a wee sort of daft rehearsal thing, and I genuinely was like, I don't know how. I was shaking, man. Do you know what I mean, Johnny? And it was like, from a personal level, This is the only guy. He was the yardstick that Dad measured Henrik by. Right, and when we grew up, like my dad would have been my age when Henrik was at his pomp. Do you know what I mean? And he's like mid-30s, and he's going, that Larson guy's the best I've seen since Kenny Dalglish. Since he never ever once said he was better.
No.
And it's like so surreal. And you know, the wee bit of you that just wishes he was still here at times. You know what I mean? To go, if my dad knew I'd spoke to Kenny Dalglish today for half an hour, it turns out, because it was 2 15 minutes. The non-recorded one and the recorded one. I mean, it's just an incredible moment, and I'll share it tonight. I'll put it up. But I just mental, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd been able to do that, to be honest with you. You know, to sit there and speak to who was, who definitely was my first football hero, without a doubt. You would just sit there and you just. I'm assuming, were you on? I mean, I know you're saying it's only going out in audio, but were you on camera speaking to him, or was it just purely like?
No, I was on camera speaking to him. Mate.
So you just sit there and look at him and think, "That's Kenny Dalglish. It's Kenny Dalglish." You know, it's. I wouldn't even know what to ask him, what to say to him. It would just be so fair play to you, and just thank fuck you remember you actually noticed you hadn't recorded it before you said, "I'll see you later, Kenny."
Well, I had the ball. The only thing that, I just felt it was a sink or swim moment where I went, "Oh my God, you've blown it." Do you know what I mean? Like, you won't get another chance. You won't get another chance. Just say, and do you know what? Just telling the truth. He just laughed, like he just got it straight away. But yes, Kenny Dalglish, mate. I mean,
you had the strength of your convictions, shall we say?
Courage with my convictions.
Your convictions, and you know what? It's this is kind of just almost to say the story of the bus. You know, I think what's he saying? It's like massive trees grow from small acorns. And you said yourself, obviously, your dad passed away in 2009, and Kenny was one of his favourite players. And you know what? And everybody, including yourself, Boyce, have been on here and built this bus up. And you've gotten, a Celtic legend, a Liverpool legend, one of the greatest ever players to play for the club on here, and had a chat with him, but an absolute gentleman. And you know what? I feel like your dad would be very, very proud of you and what you've accomplished with this.
Oh, so kind, man. It's like surreal. Anyway, what a weekend though, Phil. We win the league.
Yes,
it's done. We've won the league again. With Champions League to look forward to, and it's just like everything just feels like it's coming together in a way. It's just all coming together, mate. Not just for the bus. I mean, the bus. What we always used to say is we always said it was the bus of positivity. Remember that? And we went. We never get beat since the bus started. So it was on the wee fellas platform. We got beat every week. Negativity, daft. See, now it's like everyone's just coming together. Everyone's just coming together, man. And it's an overwhelming feeling, as I say. But I mean, just a surreal time. And you know what? It's a surreal time in terms of Celtic as well. We'll go back to that because I don't let it fucking go over it too much. I don't like self-indulgence. It's not my style. That's just a moment shared with everyone. Do you know what I mean? Because I never wanted to post it on the socials before because I feel the live viewers, that's our community. That's our team. Everyone who's watching live right now deserve to find out first. Like, that was the best way to do it. And then we can post it on social media. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, indeed.
But the reality is, winning the league title isn't easy, Phil. It never will be easy.
Nope.
And it can only be easy to people who've got a perception of what it is to win league titles, or so they think. It's not Celtic's gift to land up in an SPFL. That's where they are. We are in the Scottish football. Yeah. That's the competition. But over 38 games, to win it, a league title, you earn it. You always earn it. And Ange Postecoglou earns every single bit of respect, every single moment that he gets of accolades and adulation. He's completely earned, in my opinion, Phil.
It's incredible that, when we win the league this season and we could still get more points on the board than Brendan Rodgers' invincible season, and we've actually lost a game this season. That's quite an astounding feat. You talk about league titles aren't easy. You know, for many years, trebles weren't an easy thing, but in the last few years, they became quite the regular with Celtic, and we're now on the cusp of another one, because that's still to come as well. It's quite incredible how things have went. I mean, I've seen a graphic that's been doing the rounds again, just demonstrate. Just when you see it visually, you're just like, oh, the Celtic badge will place. It's all the league title winners since the turn of the millennium, and it's just Celtic badges global. It's 17 now out of the last 23 that they've picked up in this century, millennium, whatever you want to say. It's an astounding record, and it just keeps going from strength to strength, considering where we were 2 years ago after the disaster that we'd had, to now be on the cusp of them picking up 5 trophies out of potential 6, a double and then a treble. It's astounding, but again, a lot of it's down to consistency as well. This team, you know, I've said it so many times, you know, we talk about the training video at the very, very start when Ange came in, the mic'd up one, which some outlets mocked and thought was a bit funny. And it's like when he was saying things like, you know, when the opposition stop, you know, we'll take advantage of it. You know, fuck it, we'll take advantage. You know, we don't stop. We stop at halftime, we stop at full time. We saw it in action literally last week in the Cup semi-final, where they actually stopped waiting on a free kick getting awarded, but we didn't. It's quite incredible that happened. And this team has just been relentless all season. You talked earlier on the show just about games where you just feel there's an inevitability where a goal's going to come. There's been games this season like we played Aberdeen up at Pittodrie just after the World Cup break, and we were 0-0 to the 8th minute, but you just felt like it's going to come. The way this team are conditioned, the way they play, you just know that it's going to come. They're just relentless. They will not stop until the job is done. And that's exactly what it's been all season. Even a minor blip of losing to St Mirren didn't derail us at all. Didn't even derail us in the slightest. It was merely a speed bump, and we just picked it up again. Went on a 17-game winning run, I think, after that, till we drew at Ibrox. And it's like this team are just absolutely... They've been a joy to watch, and we'll make it continue.
Connor, I love doing the Bustalgias with Phil because I love talking about the O'Neill era, right? Because that was the era for me where, even though I was only in my early teens, I felt like I related to these guys that played in the team. Now, your ages with half that Celtic team right now, how much can you relate to them? Because I know they're all from different corners of the world, but there's such a joy that they play with right now. Like, see when you watch the post-match celebrations, like that, the way even Jota celebrates, Kyogo celebrate, like, they're not virtue signalling. They're there in the moment, feeling like they are at the best place they possibly could be. It's just amazing right now the place that Celtic find themselves in.
Yeah, and obviously in Jota's interview yesterday, he said, he goes, I kind of felt the kind of similar, you know, pressures and the similar standards coming in here. You know, it's the same at Benfica. You have to win every game. You have to, you know, do your best to win the title. You have to go and beat your rivals, which is Porto. So, you know, and in Postecoglou, whether it's Jota or, you know, Carter Vickers, Joe Hart, Kyogo, Dyson Maeda, whoever, he's picked out the personalities as well as the players. And it's so evident, you know, now that we're taking the time to sit back and, you know, take it all in, all the celebrations, you know. Just before a cup semi-finals, I would say cup final, sorry, because it kind of was, you know, against Rangers last week. It kind of had that same feeling about it. Because, you know, obviously...
I agree with that, by the way. I think he's right there.
Massive favourites. But, you know, he took his time out of his day, of his week, to go visit one of the most famous Celtic bars in the city to go and learn about his history, rocking the Bumblebee, one of the most classic, you know, sexy football kits you're ever likely to see. And, you know, it was there, you know, he didn't do it like that. He didn't, sorry?
Is it sexy as the one above you?
No.
You know it,
you big handsome man, you. But no, no, you know, he didn't do it for clout. He didn't post it on any of his social medias until well after the fact. You know, he didn't say, "Oh, guys, I'm going to go to the Brazen Head and try and learn a bit about Celtic." No, he went there. He went and he learned about the history, learned about the players. You know, was wearing the kit, was polite, and you know, accommodating to everybody who came up to him. Apparently, you know, and you know, he maybe went there with a wee Earog CD as well. You know, playing it in his car. You know, so you know, these players and these guys. You know, it makes me feel like absolute shite because these guys are the same age as me. They're all cutting about with 8-packs and, you know, slick back bullets and mustaches and, you know, looking like rock stars. And, you know, Kyogo's the most.
I've been known to cut about a few 8-packs in my time as well, Connor, to be fair. You tend to be bottled in Miller or Desperado, to be fair, though.
aye, the only correct ones. But you know, yeah, just these guys, and you know, ingratiated themselves so well into the Celtic support. You know, they go and they visit, you know, fans whose children may not be well. They take the time out of their day to speak to people on the street. You know, they're not, you know, dismissive. They go and they sign, you know, there's people doing artwork and stuff of that of the players. They take their time out to go and sign it and to go and visit the people's studios, you know, and it gets me quite emotional as well, because after Brendan Rodgers left, I never thought I would have something as similar to that. You know, the connection you felt with the club at the time and the players, you know, there was just this massive loving. But you know, we've got it now under Ange Postecoglou, and it's absolutely incredible. And, you know, even he himself, you know, he doesn't, you know, just put all his successes down to him and what he's done as a man. He puts it down to, you know, his family and his kids that stand by him. And it's just, it's beautiful. And it's a really nice feeling, you know. And you know what? It's party time, lads. Until the cup final, we're going to just love every minute of this. And we can start by beating that mob next week and really pouring salt in the wound and getting the nail in their Mankey coffin.
Johnny, Ange almost seemed a wee bit emotional yesterday, didn't he?
He did, didn't he?
I was concerned at first, Johnny. I thought, why is he standing off the team? Like, oh my God, I've seen these telltale. No, but then eventually you watch, we can't help but just doing the lapping it up stuff. I think it's actually, you know, speak about the words overwhelmed and all that. You know, I hate using terms like that. Once off, that'll be the only time you ever hear me say that. About myself. But I thought Ange yesterday, it almost hit home to him where the fuck this team's got to. And if you actually look at what he was saying outside Celtic Park, I don't know if you've seen any of the wee clips, he said, it's the guys I've got behind me. He goes, I've got the easy bit to do. You see those guys behind me, not only the brilliant group of players, he says, but the brilliant people that you're all supporting. I think that's classy, isn't it?
Yeah, I did watch that this morning. I seen it on YouTube, I think it was. But yeah, he did get very emotional, and I was a bit worried as well at first. I think, is he prepping us for a long goodbye, if you like? But
probably just a negative attitude, Johnny. It's probably just a negative mindset that, like, we overanalyze everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's because I think he talks about it on our WhatsApp group the other day. They were not so much about Ange as a manager, but as what Celtic, you know, what we're going to do in the summer. And are we going to do anything? Are we going to, as Terry says, the now or never? If we don't do it this summer, we're never going to do it, you know, as in really push the boat out for players. And I was just wondering, is he getting ready to move? And we've got this negative way that you talk about it, because as I put it in the WhatsApp group yesterday, I'm that used to, as a Celtic supporter, seeing Celtic climbing the mountain. We think we've got to the top. We find out it's the blind summit and think, fuck it, that's close enough. And they're far enough behind us that we don't have to worry about them. We're going to keep dominating Scottish football. And so so the negative bit makes you think, is he getting ready, preparing us for his, after the cup final, right, folks, I'm going off to Spurs or whatever. But I don't think it is. I don't think it is that. I think it's just, he always talks about how the difference, what Celtic do as a football club on the field, the difference it makes to our lives, how we spring out of bed on a Monday morning to go to work, especially you guys who get the chance to go in and see lots of Rangers supporters and give them a hard time at work when I don't get that opportunity. But you have a spring in your step because of what the club do. And he keeps telling the players, this is what you do. You make the difference to these people's lives, countless people that you will never, ever meet, or you will never, ever know. But you impact their life. And I think that really got to him yesterday when he was it was banging home to him. And he does always tend to take a back seat anyway, as far as the celebrations go. He'd have gone home last night, he'd have had his malt whiskey. He might have had a cigar. I don't know if he likes a cigar or not. But today he'll be back at work saying, right, lads.
I like the idea of Ange smoking a cigar, though. I like that.
He likes a takeaway, apparently. I don't know. I can't remember the name of the place, but there's a photo floating about after we won the cup final.
Is it the same one as Alfredo's?
Nah. Alfredo's got his own stash in the back of Ibrox. They're constantly churning out food for him to keep him fit. But no, after the cup semi, he just went to the takeaway, and he got a picture with the guy who was the owner, and they were like, "Oh, what are you doing in here?" He said, "Oh, I'm just getting a takeaway for me and the wife." Like he's just a humble gentleman.
What do you think he ordered?
Oh, I don't. If it's Greek, you'll probably get a gyros. Or I think Ange likes a kebab. Looks like a kebab man. It looks like a kebab man to me. I don't know.
Nothing wrong with a kebab, mate.
Boys, you could give away a kebab to Ange. Send it to him.
Do you know what? Like, so see, like we did like Kebab Gate, right, on Bustalgia, Phil, right? But I ended up getting like 3 fucking email notifications, right, saying Google's approved your payments. I don't know. I don't even get. There's 70 memberships. 3 $14.99 fucking payments came out of my account to my own channel. And I bought Michael McDonald the kebab. I've lost the plot, man. I've absolutely lost the plot. I couldn't believe it. It takes like a week to filter through. But yeah, I mean, do you know what? See, wherever they celebrate, there's a kebab, a pint, a malt whiskey, a cigar. Nobody cares. They deserve it all right now. Yeah. Absolutely deserve it all. But of course, Terry seemed to have the mindset yesterday, Phil, where he was very much already thinking Ibrox. Now, I take his point on board, what he was saying yesterday, Phil, because he's got a decent argument. See that by the time that game comes round, and it is only 5 days away now or whatever, and he'll be like, it does start finding that importance. You'll start finding the factors and the reasons, and you'll start readjusting your mind again and going, do you know what? This is the most important game we're going to play this season. We're going to play Rangers again at Ibrox, and before you know it, by the time it comes, it's all back to business. Let's get down to business, you could say, Phil.
Yeah, I won't say the next line of that song. But yes, the thing regarding this fixture, we've had a few of these over the last, this millennium, century, where we want to say, where we've won the league a good few weeks out in advance, and we've got one more game against them. Me personally, my attitude is whatever, but I can understand Ange's mentality where he won't want to give them anything at all, just because he's seen how the way the press have been behaving, the mischief they get up to with some of their headlines. You know, if we win the league with a double figures points gap, then it's quite conclusive. But if we drop any silly points between now and the end of the season and we lose a game to them, suddenly it might be a singles points gap, so it's under 10, and then suddenly it looks not too bad. I mean, I'll give you a great example, just for a wee Bustalgia plug as well. Not too long ago, we did the Tony Mowbray season, which all of us know was a shocking season. Yeah. But do you know at the end of the season, the league table showed that Celtic only finished 6 points behind Rangers that season? Doesn't feel like it though, does it, when you think back to it? We're only 6 points in it, but if you're an outsider looking at the table, you'd think Celtic could have been that bad that season, but we fucking well. We really were, and we know that. So if there was a chance that Rangers, had a single points gap again, an outsider looking in would go, oh, it was actually quite close.
Wasn't that bad?
It wasn't. People that lived through it know that. So I think there's that mentality of you just don't want to give them that opportunity where the press can stir it up and go, oh, I mean, it was only 7 points in at the end of the season. It's not too bad, because last season I think we won the league by 4 points in the end, and then it was 7. So, it's not too bad. Not much for Michael Beale today. He's only to bridge a small gap. Because this word gap that I'm obsessed with, I'm going doolally listening to it now. So it's like, I would really, it'd be fantastic just to go there next week, especially with none of our fans in attendance, and really sicken them. That would really stick it to them. Go and beat them. I think with the pressure off us, we've had a few occasions like this. We've went to Ibrox after winning the league. The 3-0 game when Larsson scored his 50th goal, we'd won the league. We beat them 5-1 in their own ground under Brendan. We'd won the league at that point. We seemed to play with no pressure that day. And we just, the pressure was more on them because they had a point to prove. Oh, we'll beat the champions. We'll show them that we're still a force. So I think the pressure's more on them going into this game. I think it will suit us perfectly to go in with that sort of, we've done what we have to do. We'll just play our normal game. Yep. It's up to you guys to break us down and find a way to win.
Yeah. Connor, it's an interesting one because, like we say, I mean, see if Celtic lose, we'll spin it, right? I'll tell you right now, I will spin it. I'll spin it into a nobody cares situation. Doesn't make any odds. We've won the league. It's all done. That's how the positive vibes come out. But realistically, when we go into it, you know what it'll be like. You say it yourself often. That gets you right nervy. And we will find a million reasons for this importance to just start building as the week goes on. It's very important, though, as well, to celebrate your success. And that's where we want to focus. Like, I want that to still be very much in everyone's mind. We've just won the league. Let that be the focal point of your mind's space right now when it comes to Celtic. However, as the week progresses, it will turn. And the space that was getting taken up by glory will start becoming, come on, let's kill the narrative before it can even begin. Let's do what needs to be done. And do you know what? I think they're well overdue one of those scalpings.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's very important that we, not necessarily take our foot off the gas, but, kind of put it down a little bit more just for that final push. And then after this game, we can, give, some of the boys who have been, playing non-stop a bit of a rest. It's great. And, Andy's already going here with a treble, believe it or not, because he's won the League Cup, he's won the league, and he's won Mickey Beale's wee Diddy League as well in his head. So, it's very much, we are going in here with a strong force, a strong positive mentality that we can beat them, because if you think about it, since Michael Beale has come in, they haven't beat us, despite the fact that, they've been the better side. I don't care what anybody says. The better side is the team that wins, because they showed by hook or by crook, whether they're in the ascendancy or whether or not, they can dig out the results and they can push for that win. They can push for the results. So, I really, really want us to go and, like your brother says, uncork that big jar of salt and pour it right on that gaping open wound that they have right now. Because, let's be honest, yesterday they played Aberdeen. Aberdeen were possibly denied a penalty. They only got one goal. And, Aberdeen missed a couple of really good chances. So there was always the possibility they could have dropped points yesterday as well. And they would have had even more egg on their face. But no, we have to go here, this weekend with a very, very, positive attitude and just staying right. Ange's not the kind of person who's going to, you've seen it in the DVD last year, your average, off tomorrow? What? No. You don't stop until it's done. And this final game at Ibrox is the death knell. It's the final one. It is the final hurdle to go over. It doesn't matter. In Ange's mind, he'll be like, doesn't matter we've won the league, doesn't matter we've won the League Cup, doesn't matter we've won the semi-final, we're in the final. What matters is performance. Keep going, keep pushing, show them what you're made of. Put all these doubts to bed that the media, that their players, that their manager can stir up against you. See all this lucky patter that fucking the great mole's coming away with.
Well, I'm going to bring Johnny into this, because do you know what I also find with the fixture that's coming up? As much as I say, we'll find a million reasons to make it the most important one of the season, Johnny, right, as the week goes on. I just wonder if there is a wee bit that still is niggling at Ange about Beale. I think Beale has not got under his skin in a manner that's going to affect how Ange does his job and goes about his business. That's not what I mean. But I found it fascinating that after we beat them in the Scottish Cup semi-final, he said, some of you will tell me I'm lucky again. And I always think that tells you whatever he's said in the past is still fucking sitting there. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel sometimes the managers, it does get a bit personal. And I think Ange's too classy to ever acknowledge it and actually say it. But I do get the vibe. There'll be it's just my opinion, but I think Ange deep down, for whatever reason, and probably, well, we know the reason, because Michael Beale just talks hundreds of shite, right? But he was a chancer at the start. He came in with loads of bravado, loads of bluster, and he took pops at wealth, and the amount of spending he did was crazy. 2 million net spend. He then went in, again, see January just there, by the way, we made money. People forget that. We ended up at the end of January with profit from our transfer dealings. But it was the fact that Ange mentioned the no doubt I'll have been lucky again thing. And see, when he said that after the Scottish Cup semi, it just gives me that vibe, Johnny, that there's an itch he wants to scratch there, and the itch will be, they need it doing at Ibrox, don't they? He's not done that yet.
No, definitely. You use the term getting under his skin. I don't think he does get under Ange's skin either. He gets under our skin. There's, in fact, I think we've discussed it a couple of weeks ago with Steve-O on the bus. For an unsuccessful Rangers manager, he probably does wind us up a bit more than he should do, because he's a charlatan, I think. But I think what he does do for what Ange does use it for is motivation. It motivates Ange to, I'm not lucky, mate. I'm just better than you, and I'm just going to prove it. And you're saying we're going to find a whole raft of reasons to make this game on Sunday important. There's one reason. There's two. One, it's them, and we've just got to beat them. And yeah, at the minute, I'm quite happy and relaxed about it. But come Saturday, this is going to be the biggest game of the season, and I won't accept defeat, and I don't think Ange will either. But the other reason that we've got to give them a right scalping on Saturday is we don't want to give them any sort of glimmer of hope, any remote thing to grasp onto during the summer, saying, but we won the last game, so we're on the right road now. We've got that monkey off the back. What we need to be on Saturday is like a pack of hyenas on a dying beast, which is what they are, and get in there and finish them off. And that's the main reason, is not to give them any glimmer of hope during the summer, because they will cling on to that like a comfort blanket all through the close season, and we just don't rip the comfort blanket away from them and throw it away.
I agree with that, Johnny, in terms of the team. I think you're absolutely right. I think they will cling to any sort of comfort result they'll get. And again, I think it'll be what Phil, you were saying, the gap. It's close, the gap's close. I've never been a Celtic fan that spoke about a gap in my life. Never once. As you say, the Tony Mowbray season, we all presumed that was 20 points. It was only 6 in the end.
Only 6 in the end.
Thanks to
Neil Francis Lennon, thank you.
There's 8 out of 8 league wins, including beating them, but nobody wants to remember that either. But when it comes down to it, we never, at any point of that, I never remember thinking, we closed the gap, we got it down to 6 points. We all just presumed because it was so shite.
Yeah.
It was 15, 20 points we must have got beat by that season. Closing gaps aren't trophies.
No.
However, I want your takeaway from it, because we look, obviously, whenever we do the Bustalgia shows, you start getting into the mindset of the managers and stuff, and what the dynamic was like between whoever the competition is at that moment in time. I do feel like under the skin, Johnny's right, I don't think he's under Ange's skin, but there's no two ways. You cannot deny for Ange to pull out a quote from Mickey Beale from 2 months ago after the Scottish Cup semi-final that he's acutely aware of what the guy is saying, Phil. And that tells me deep down he wants to get one over him as well on a personal level, and like in his own backyard, and with a wee bit of distinction.
Yeah, I think you can draw a lot of parallels to your favourite Martin O'Neill. When you've said it before, when O'Neill first joined, he sat at his first press conference and told everybody in attendance, "I have a long memory." I think Ange has got exactly that. He didn't have to tell the press that, but you just know this guy does. He's dropped references to it in recent weeks as well, just about, I didn't get any red carpet treatment when I came in. He remembers all this. He remembers all the stupid headlines, Postacog who, and stuff like that. So he has a point to prove. He's seen this guy come in and get all this bluster and all this bravado and whatnot, all this hype. He was going to be, he's going to do this and do that. And funny enough, when I think about it, there was this belief that when he was here as the assistant manager, when he was up at Ibrox with Gerrard, everyone said he's the brains of the outfit and Gerrard was just basically the front for it. But the more that I've listened to Beale now and the way that I've seen the way his teams basically fell apart, I'm like, was he actually the brains all along? I'm beginning to question that one. It's a strange one. But yeah, ever since he's came in, the press have been really just determined to make it all about Michael Beale and he's going to turn that around. And Ange will just be taking me mental notes about that. And it's like, all right, okay. I've came in with the CV I've got and none of you even cared, didn't want to know. And this guy...
another aspect then, Phil? Do you think like the media side as well has pissed him off a wee bit because he's like, fuck, this is unreal the love this guy's getting. He's been love-bombed. And I never got that. And yet, I've won stuff. He did 24 games at QPR and left them after 5 defeats in a row.
Do you know what's really ironic? But I remember when Ange's press conference, his first day, when he sat alongside Dominic Mackay. Remember him? He was actually a thing that happened. But they did the media press conference, and they did a fan media press conference. And there was a boy that stood up, and many Celtic fans ridiculed him, and he made a point about it. He did go in a bit two-footed, but the message he gave was, don't trust the media, basically. Trust us. We're the ones to trust. Basically, was essentially his message. And a lot of people laughed and ridiculed, says, "Oh, that's embarrassing," and all that. But when you look at it, and the way that the media have treated Ange, and again, you look at how when Beale came in and got all this hype and all that, and Ange didn't get really anything, and he gets asked a lot of daft, patronising questions, loaded questions at times. We saw that the other day at the press conference about the coronation and stuff like that.
I was raging at that.
The wee guy from PLZ who always gets bodied by him and stuff like that. I can't remember. He's got an Italian sounding name.
Antoniazzi.
Yeah, and
anyone who has to work with that idiot Peter Martin's got a shite job. Do you know what I mean? Fuck that, man. He's a prick.
So you just feel that Ange just, even though media is part of his duty as manager, you can tell that when he is talking to them, he's just like, he wants it just done as quickly as possible. He's a training ground manager. He likes being out at the training ground, and some of the questions they throw at him, you understand why he's got a wee bit of, nobody cares, mate, about it when he's talking to some of them. You can understand it.
But I do think, though, Connor, these are all the wee different traits that you need going into these games. I like to look into the psychology of it all. It's not just about if the league's won, so it makes no difference whatsoever if they win, if they don't win. The trophy's in the bag again, right? Back to back. However, I do think there is a wee bit of needle that has been developed, by the way, by the new manager, and I think he's trying to create that stir, hoping it would somehow shift some sort of momentum in his team's favour. And I think his naivety has been highlighted now, but I think it's time to rubber stamp it, isn't it?
Yeah, and just like I said, it's time to go and put the final nail in the coffin and get your ice cream and jelly it. But yeah, the thing was, like, you even look at it, even officially, like, I don't think he still gets the respect he deserves. I mean, when was the last time? I know it's not everything, and I mean, if I was him, I would probably hand it off so I didn't have to get interviewed by fucking Cy Ferry and Paul Slane, because my God. But when's the last time you won a manager of the month? I know they're all right, but I do think some things they waffle a lot of shite. I mean, I'm the one to talk, but still.
I like them, man.
I like to fair, they're quite good, and it's nice seeing that side.
I think Cy Ferry took interviewing ex-players or ex-managers, whatever, to a different level just by being really simple about it, just by talking with them. I've never seen sides to ex-players that I've ever seen since Cy Ferry started doing it. Now everyone wants a piece, you know what I mean? They don't got any.
I do love some that come away with that, but think about it. When's the last time Ange won a Manager of the Month award? He didn't lose. He's not lost a game since what, September, and he's what? Yeah, he's drew 2 games, but they were not points dropped. They were points gained in the title race, if you think about it. Do you know what I mean? Because we got that draw at Ibrox, which kind of kept us, a few steps in front of them. And we then got that draw with Motherwell, and then they went and lost to Aberdeen that day. And, when's the last time Ange was, rewarded, if you want to say, for what he's done with this team and what he's, done with that? I mean, last season we weren't nowhere near as good as this, and he was getting Manager of the Month awards left, right and centre. But now they're going to your Stephen Robinsons and, the Aberdeen manager and that. And they've done well, but no one's done near enough the same kind of job in this country with football, and Ange Postecoglou has. And I don't want to hear the fucking narrative from see your St Mirren fans and your Dundee fans that, it must be super easy to have all these millions of pounds, and no, Celtic have earned the right to have that money and to spend it and to move forward and be the biggest club in this country and be the most successful club in this country, because let's be honest, we are. But no, the way to move forward and to really put all this shite to bed that has been grinding our gears for the past few months and more is to go to Mordor and destroy the orcs in their own back garden, because then and only then will they see that our time has come and their time is over.
Yeah, just lay it right down on their back garden, mate. Do you know what I mean? That's the best way to do it, Johnny, isn't it? But we live in special times, Johnny. It's been a wonderful weekend. Have you got anything to take away before we go?
I've not got anything to take away, but apart from the fact to say it has been a great weekend. It's the type of weekend that we live for. It's what we want every year. And the cherry on the cake is King Kenny coming on the bus.
Absolutely. So if you're just joining us right now, the reveal was done today. King Kenny Dalglish I spoke with this morning for half an hour. Yep, 50 minutes. I forgot to hit the record button, so we did it again. He was that sound. But Kenny Dalglish is definitely part of the Bhoycie Bus. Maybe once. Who cares? He jumped on the bus. He caused no fuss. It is a joke. And from one king in King Kenny to another king in King Ange, we never stop.
I mean, you've all that stuff at the start. You know, they won't be playing Tina Turner on the coach on the way home, will they?
Some of his comments about me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I work in the media now. And you've got someone sitting there next to you who's an embarrassment to the media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan. He's a Rangers puppet. He's a cheerleader. That's what he is.